what is the solution to the inequality 5x plus 4 is greater than or equal to x minus 20? So here we see that we only have one variable, and that is x. I try to keep my variables all on one side of the equation and my constants on the other side. So I decided I'm going to move my variables to the left. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides of the inequality, which is going to give me 4x plus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 20. Now that all my x's are on the left, I'm going to move all my constants to the right. So I'm going to subtract 4 because it's positive. And it's going to leave me with 4x is greater than or equal to negative 24. From here I'm going to divide because that's the inverse operation of multiplication. And since I'm not dividing by negative, I'm not going to change the sign. So x is greater than or equal to negative 6. So my answer is B. And number 2, what values of x make the following inequality true? It's basically asking the same question as number 1, except for number 2 we have one extra step, and that is to distribute the negative 6 to the x and the 4 to get rid of parentheses. Once I do that, I have negative 6x minus 24 is less than or equal to negative 12. My variables are already on the right, so I'm going to move my constant to the left, which means I'm going to add 24, leaving me with negative 6x is less than or equal to 12. Still haven't gotten x by itself for isolated inequality for x, so I'm going to divide by negative 6. When I divide by negative, my sign changes, so now it's greater than or equal to. So x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So my answer for number 2 is C. Numbers 3 and 4 are very similar to numbers 1 and 2. Just moving all of my constants to one side of the equation, leave my variables to the other side. So I'm subtracting 7, leave with negative 4x is greater than or equal to negative 8. Divide by negative 4. I get x, switching my sign, is less than or equal to positive 2. It's positive 2 because the 8 and the 4 are negative, and negative divided by negative is a positive. So my answer is B. Number 4, same concept. This time, just going to subtract 3 from both sides of the inequality. 2x is less than 16. Divided by 2. Don't change the sign because we didn't divide by negative. X is less than 8. So B again. Number 6 is number 5 is a little different because it's asking us to choose 2 steps. So it says that he incorrectly solved the problem, the inequality, and between which 2 steps did he make the mistake? So if I go through step 1 to see what he did, he combined like terms here. So he added negative 10 and positive 6. That's how he got the negative 4. Here he added 4 to both sides. That's how he got the 6. Now we have to divide by negative. So we should divide by negative 2. which he did. However, Derek did not change the sign, so the problem or the mistake happened between steps 3 and 4. So it says to choose both steps. So that would be step 3 and step 4. His correct answer should have been x is greater than -3. So in number 6, they're saying that James solved the inequality, and they just want you to simply identify the property that he used to go from line 1 to line 2. I noticed that I still have my 10, my 4, however, my 2x and my 3x are not in line 2. So how did he get rid of those? How did he just simply get x? If you subtract 2x from both sides, you're going to get 3x minus 2x, which is going to leave you with 1x here. So if he subtracted from both sides, the property that he used was the subtraction property of inequality. Number 7 is a very similar question to number 6. They're just wanting us to identify the property used. This time we're going from step 4 to step 5. So I see that x is by itself in step 5. So how do we go from 2x to x? We divided both sides by 2. Therefore we use the division property of inequality. Phil wants to buy several cups and plates and cups. He has $200 to spend. Each plate costs $20. Each cup costs $10. Which inequality represents how many plates and cups he can buy? So we know the most he can spend is 200. He can't spend 201. He can definitely spend 195 if he feel like, but he can't spend more than 200. So I know everything else has to be less than or equal to 200. So if I know it's already less than or equal to 200, I can eliminate 2 answer choices, C and D. Next, they tell us the number of plates. Plates is a variable, so we're going to call it P. So plates are P and cups are C. Plates cost $20, so that would be the same as 20p since we don't know the number of plates. And cups would be 10c. So that also eliminates another choice without having to necessarily go through the steps of the math. P are plates and they're $20. No, I'm making a video for my students. Plates are $20. So we can eliminate A because it has cups costing $20. Different answer choice is B. So number 9, same concept as the previous question with the cups and the plates, however, it just involves one more step. So it says the most the plumber will charge is $500. So not $515, $485 possibly, but no more than $500. So we know that it has to be less than or equal to $500, making sure we use that part of the equation or the problem. The estimate includes a $15 service charge. So $15 just for showing up. The part is going to cost $35. So we only need one part. It just says the part or a part. And the variable here comes in at $50 per hour. Since we do not know how many hours he's going to work, we can call it X. So now we've used all parts of the inequality or of the problem. I can combine like terms, and now I have 50x plus 50 is less than or equal to 500. Wanted to isolate for x, so that means I'm going to move my constants to the right. So I subtract 50 from both sides. I now have 50x is less than or equal to 450. Since it's 50 times x, I'm going to divide by 50 and get x is less than or equal to 9. So my answer choice is C. It's important to recognize questions like 10. Sometimes they make it easier for us to eliminate answer choices. We see that as a solid line, so that means it has to be a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Can't eliminate any answer choices because they're all less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. It's also isolated for y. So we've already solved for y. What do you notice about y in the shaded area? What's happening to the y-axis is going down, it's decreasing. So without actually looking at any numbers, I know that y has to be less than that line. So less than or equal to. So A says y is greater than or equal to, so I can eliminate A. C also says y is greater than or equal to. So now I'm only left for B and D.
Good morning, Lancers. Attention senior class. Seniors, we do have t-shirts on sale in the front lobby, and we're also collecting senior fees as well. So again, seniors, our t-shirts are in, and we are making sales in the front lobby. And also, we are out there taking senior fees as well. And junior class, juniors.
Oh my God.
T-shirts are also on sale for the junior class as well. So come out to the front lobby.
I don't care.
Students,
oh my gosh.
The Academy shows will be running today, and all Academy students are expected to attend. All Academy students, go to Academy.
Okay. So now I see, now to eliminate or make a decision between B and D, I notice that it's written in slope-intercept form. So all I have to do now is look at the different y-intercepts. So where does my line cross the y-axis? And it crosses at -4. So across the y-axis at -4. So between B and D, only B has the y-intercept of -4. Therefore, B is the answer to number 10. Alright, so we can start off 11 with the same situation. Are there any answer choices that I can eliminate based on the equation? It's a dotted line, so I know it has to be less than or greater than. No equal to, but I can't. So I have nothing to eliminate here. I know that has to be written in the form of y equals mx plus b in order for me to truly solve. I notice that all of these are written in standard form, so that means that I have to solve. So if I try to start with letter A, I have 3y plus 2x is less than 6. I have to subtract 2x from both sides, leaving me with 3y is less than -2x plus 6. Without going any further, I know I'm going to have to divide by 3. If I divide by 3, I see that my slope is going to be negative. This line is increasing, so my slope has to be positive. And that's what's going to happen if I have a positive x and a positive y. So I can get rid of a, and for the same reason, I can get rid of c. So now I'm going to try option B, which is 2x minus 3y is less than 6. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, so I have negative 3y. So negative 3y less than negative 2x plus 6. My next step is to divide by negative 3. So I have y, changing my sign, is greater than negative divided by negative is a positive minus 2. So now we have to see if this fits. First, we have a positive slope. We have a y-intercept of negative 2. We also know that y is greater than this line. So above this line, in the shaded region, y is increasing, so that fits. And the slope of 2/3 means I rise 2. And then travel to the right 3. So the answer to 11 is B. So if we recall what I just mentioned in questions 10 and 11, by simply looking at it, you can eliminate an answer choice. So we only have 2 for number 12, and it says that y is greater than negative 5/4 x plus 3. So in which graph is the shaded area greater than the line? So we're looking for y is greater than that line. So in B, we see that y is increasing. If we wanted to go a step further, we see that the y-intercept is 3. This graph has a y-intercept of negative 6, and this graph has a y-intercept of positive 3. So the correct answer is B. Before I can graph, I must first solve for y, and I start off by distributing negative 2 to 4y and to negative 1 to eliminate parentheses, which leaves me with negative 8y plus 2 minus 4y is less than or equal to negative 10. I can combine like terms. Which leaves me with negative 12y plus 2 is less than or equal to negative 10. From here, I subtract 2. Subtract 2 from both sides of the inequality, leaving me with.
Good morning again, Lancers. Again, this is just a call out to senior class, class of 2018. Guys, we do have our long sleeve t-shirts on sale in the main lobby, and we're also collecting senior fees. So please these guys. We have our pep rally today. So seniors, let's come out. If you don't have your long sleeve T-shirts, come to the main lobby and let's purchase it. And also, this goes for all students. Academy shuttles will be running today, and all Academy students are expected to attend their class. And once again, seniors, come out to the main lobby. If you don't have your T-shirts, please come out and come pick them up.
So we divide by -12, switching my sign. I say y is greater than or equal to 1. So I see this greater than or equal to, that means wherever I decide to put my 1, I have to use a closed circle. So I'm going to put my 1 here. And since it's greater than, and I'm traveling to the right. Joe has at most 3 hours to play video games to do his algebra homework. So they said let X represent the hours he spends playing video games. And Y represent the number of hours he spends doing homework. And it says at most. So that means he can spend even less time. He could spend 2 hours, but the most he can spend is 3. So we know it has to be less than or equal to 3 hours. And the Y is homework. So I'm just going to label it. And X is video games. Since I know it's not possible for him to spend negative time, he can spend at the very least no time doing either one. But we don't bother going to the left of the origin or down from the origin because he can't spend negative time participating in video games or homework. So for homework, if he spends 3 hours doing homework, that means he spends 0 hours playing video games. Good decision. But on the reverse, he can spend 3 hours playing video games and no hours doing homework. So my graph is going to look like this. But it doesn't say he spends exactly 3. It says at most 3, which means I need to shade below. Because you can interpret any one of these points. The point here, 1, 2, says that he spent 1 hour playing video games, 2 hours doing homework. Here, 1 means 2 hours for video games, 1 for homework. Even this point means 1 hour playing video games, 1 hour for homework. We're not sure what happens to his remaining hour, but it said at most.